and welcome to Personality. My guest today is Judaline Cassidy, who is a plumber in New York City with UA Local Number 1. And she's also the founder of Tools and Tiaras Inc., which is a nonprofit that shows girls that jobs don't have genders, which is now a registered trademark. Way to go, Judaline. And they do workshops and summer camps where girls can learn how powerful tools feel in their hands and how creative, fulfilling, and lucrative a career in the trades can be. As a motivational speaker and podcast host, Judaline shares insights on grit, equality, leadership, and construction. She's spoken at numerous conferences and been featured on platforms like CBS News, BBC America, CNN, News Nation, and Fox Business Network. She's like acting all embarrassed, but she did all this stuff. It's awesome. She was also named L'Oreal Paris 2023 Woman of Worth and a CNN 2020 Champion for Change. So Judaline, welcome and thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I was wondering who the girl was you were talking about.
It's you. You did all those amazing things.
Okay.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you got into the trades?
I got into the trades because of necessity, I would say. I grew up in the beautiful Twin Islands of Trinidad and Tobago, and I wanted to be a lawyer and Wonder Woman in those orders. I really did. And I lived with my great-grandmother, and she passed away. So in Trinidad and Tobago, education is free up to something we call secondary school. And to attend university, you have to have money. And being that she passed away, I didn't have the means to attend university to study law. So the trades was the next free option, best free option. And in my mind, I said that, electrical, you can get shock, and plumbing, you can get wet. And I was like, that's easy for me.
Yeah, there's no contest.
That was no contest. I don't want to get shocked. I know it sounds strange, but that was just at that was I'm very logical in choices with a lot of things. And that's what it was. But then I fell in love with plumbing, and there my story began.
That's so awesome. Yeah. We have a lot in common because I wanted to be Wonder Woman when I grew up. And I had a Wonder Woman mask that was like my most prized possession. And I would keep it in my bed, like under the covers, because that's where I kept all my stuff that like was really important to me. Like I also had my Star Wars Princess Leia action figure under there. Yeah. And I grew up to be a lawyer, and quite honestly, you made the right choice. I wish I had known that plumbing was an option, or any trades were an option for me, because I didn't really like practicing law. Yeah. And most of the plumbers I know are much happier than I ever was practicing law.
Yeah, we really are.
Yeah, I think you ended up in the right place and where you were meant to be.
Yeah, I believe that too. And a lot of times I get to practice law. I have a law and order degree because I watched all of them, and it helps me write stuff when I'm writing stuff. So in a way, it's like you said, I think it's a blessing where I ended up, because I know it's hard for people to believe because some people just don't get it. Like to love your trade. Like I really do love being a plumber and getting to improve people's lives daily through plumbing. It's a blessing and a gift that I was able to do that.
Yeah, I totally get it, because when I started, the way I got introduced to the trades was totally random. There are no tradespeople in my family. After I was practicing law for a while, I started running a construction contractors association, the Plumbing and Mechanical and Sheet Metal Contractors Alliance in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I was on the apprenticeship committee for the plumbers and the steam fitters and the sheet metal workers. And I just remember being very impressed and touched by the amount of pride that tradespeople have in their work. And how they would talk about how proud they were to like drive around town and show their kids or their wife or their girlfriend.
Everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I helped build
Everybody.
that building. And
Yeah.
I never had that when I was practicing law. Like I couldn't point to something I had helped create. I could point
Yeah.
to things I had helped tear down, but
Every role is important. Every role
yeah.
is, yeah.
So I get where you're coming from, and I wish more people had that sense of pride in their
Yeah.
jobs.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things I love about, like I follow the people that I follow on social media, whether it be LinkedIn or whatever. Most of the people I follow, I'm a fangirl of tradespeople. Like I
Mhm.
literally like mostly follow because I think it's just that we have this love of building and this love of creating and the pride that we feel about it. Like nobody could take that away. So I love that about the skill trades.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is awesome. And so, can you tell us a little bit about Tools and Tiaras and why you founded it?
Tools and Tiaras, I started it in 2017. And the reason I started it was like for years, when I started construction, I would be the only woman on
Hmm.
some of the job sites. And as time went by, I would see more women enter in the trades, whether it be plumbing, electrical, being a laborer, being sheet metal worker, and they wouldn't stay. And I
Hmm.
figured that I remembered, which we both did, when we were little girls, how we felt like we could conquer the world, we can do anything, and you dare not stop me because I am a girl. And we stood like, if it's a podcast, people, like literally, we stood like that, right?
Yeah.
And we believed everything. And I said to myself, if we had an organization or something that girls could never lose that, never,
Hmm.
because it doesn't get taken away by society, because that's what happens to girls and that
Right.
gets taken away. And it was in the back of my mind and I never did it. I talked to women on the job and we'd be like, it's so cool if we start something for women, right?
Hmm.
And then one day my very first major speaking engagement was the Makers Conference. And at the conference, I said in my speech, I said, you should give a girl a tool and a tiara, which is given her confidence, independence, and power. And when I said those words, the universe, the energy, the creator, whatever you want to call that force, said, you have to go back and start that nonprofit. And I listen. I know when something is my voice and when it's bigger. And I
Hmm.
got back and I Googled how to start a nonprofit. I had no idea what to do.
Hmm.
And pretty much I've been running a nonprofit on Google, and Google should hire me as a spokesperson because it's true. I literally Googled everything about board members, mission statement, how do you file a 501c? And I just did it because I knew it was bigger than me, if that makes sense. Like because when I said those words, I felt it. And I just went back and I figured out how to do it. And I'm still figuring
Hmm.
how to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so awesome. I mean, you said a couple things that really resonated with me. I mean, number one, you said that when we're little girls, we stand tall and our
Yeah.
shoulders are squared. And, for me, it was with my Wonder Woman mask and
Yeah.
my Wonder Woman underoos. I don't know
Right.
if you're old enough to
I
remember
made the
this.
belt. I made the belt, and Linda Carter. I was just picturing that I would be her with those color eyes one day. But no, you're right.
But then you said that society takes that away from girls. Can you
Yes.
say a little bit more about that?
Yeah, data shows like around 10 years old,
Hmm.
we kind of make girls compete with each other instead of
Hmm.
like teamwork, and that's what I love about construction.
Hmm.
And then girls start to get the imagery and the messages, whether it be from their parents, oh, the boys do that, or the
Hmm.
things that we put girls in. Uh,
Hmm.
it gives them that subtle message, and they see television. There's very rare, and I'm still annoyed at that. Like, and I wanted to change. Like, you watch a movie, you watch a TV show, the plumber, the carpenter, they're all men. So
Hmm.
girls cannot see these things as attainable or even a possibility. And I think that's where the messages start changing for girls. Like, you're not good in math, you shouldn't do. And they start believing it. But what if we raise girls and boys to see things differently. It would be
Hmm.
magical.
It would be
That's
magical.
yeah.
So, how did you have the self confidence and the self belief to go into plumbing? Were there role models of yours that made you believe you could do it? Okay.
No, no, there's no role models. Where I grew up in Trinidad and Tobago, culture is very different. It's
Hmm.
changing a lot now, and there's still not a lot of women in careers like mine. But
Hmm.
where I grew up, women were raised to be homemakers,
Hmm.
to be a mom, to raise the kids, maybe be a teacher. Back then, I'm going to age myself, secretary, and learn
Hmm.
a shorthand and type in. So
Hmm.
there wasn't any, but I knew that I think I was deep down inside was always I always questioned. I wasn't so much a rebel, but I questioned why it is as a girl I have to stay in and do dishes and cook,
Hmm.
and the boys are outside playing the sports that I love. They love playing basketball, they're playing foot. Why do I? And so I think deep down inside that fighter or that warrior was there. And of course, I loved Wonder Woman and Nancy Drew, all the rebel women and the books that I was reading, Little Woman, and like I was
Hmm.
just like everything in my ether.
Hmm.
I think, and I wanted to be a lawyer. That's like. So I think it was always in me, and I think it's still in me, like that fight, even though around me nobody had exuded that, like being in the trades, woman wise. I didn't see that.
Hmm.
I think it was just in me, you know.
That's awesome. But I know that mentorship is a really big part of Tools and Tiaras. Is that why mentorship is so key to your mission?
Yeah, just for us, the key to the mission is why we have women instructors, and not that we don't want our brothers, because I wouldn't be one of the world's best plumbers, if men didn't teach me. But if
Hmm.
we want to change the narrative, that's why we have that component of the mentorship being the woman, and we see the changes. We see a lot of the young ladies who started in 2017 who are now in college. They're doing stuff within STEM. Who is a pilot because they met a female
Wow.
pilot? Yeah, we have Samantha. She wanted to be an architect, and then we introduced her to pilot, a female pilot from JetBlue, and now she was able to meet that. Now she went to aviation high school and is graduating, and she's going to be a pilot.
Cool.
We have Tenzera, who originally wanted to be a doctor. Now she's going to be an engineer. She is finishing up being an engineer, and she's going to work with Kiewit, a company that we worked with.
Hmm.
So that's why it's so important that the girls see these women coming in, being brave, being vulnerable, and tell them, I struggled. It wasn't an easy road. It still isn't an easy road,
Hmm.
but you can do it, and you got all it needs. And that's why it's so important.
That's so cool. So you're funneling girls not only into the trades, but other STEM careers as well.
Yes, our main focus is the construction and the unions and the trades, but we also expose them to careers within male dominated industry. Well, male, Tanzera corrected me about that. Male populated. I have to
Oh,
say, because
excuse me.
no, but it's true. By saying the dominated, right?
Hmm.
We set in the intention in the
Hmm.
universe that it's going to stay like that. So for right
Okay.
now, male. So that's how I flipped when she told me. I liked it. She
Hmm.
recently told me that. I was like, oh, I do like. I love it. I love it. So yeah, it's that idea, and also we raising them to be. These women may get into politics, and then they will have a
Hmm.
favorability towards the skilled trades and the unions, and it all pays dividends. The more we invest in these girls, it will pay dividend within the companies, within
Hmm.
the industries, and within our country.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And what an inspiring mission and message that's obviously already paying off. So
Yeah.
kudos to you. Um, I know you like to point out that you're 4'11" and 7/8.
Yes, you know that. You
Very
know how
precise.
you know very rolling. It's a fun thing to say because it really, the guys on the job did that to me one day because they know I all live my life and I walk on this planet like I'm 6'2". No
Uh-huh.
joke. I have no concept of how small I am. I actually say
Uh-huh.
that, Deborah, but I really don't live like that. I live like a 6'2" kind of guy. And
Hmm.
the guys all knew that. And then one day they was like, we're gonna pull out the tape measure and to let me know how small I am. And I still didn't embrace it. I still feel 6'2".
Yeah. No, you know what? I have the same experience. I'm 5'4", and
Yeah.
I never really am conscious of how much smaller I am than most of the men I work with.
Yeah.
And so we're like standing in a
Yeah.
circle and
Yeah.
I'm like looking up because they're all so much bigger than I am, but
Yeah.
I don't feel tiny. I feel like,
Yeah.
I stand shoulder to shoulder with them. But the
Yeah.
reason I brought up your height is that one of the common excuses I hear for why women
Yeah.
shouldn't be in the trades is that they're not physically strong enough to do the work. And I'm wondering if you think that's true.
No. I
Yeah.
answer emphatically, it's not true because a lot of men like to use that to deter women as a cop out, or
Hmm.
they'll jump into my comments, are you lifting up 6 inch? You shouldn't be lifting up 6 inch cast iron by yourself either. So
Right.
the trades is a two-man trade. You
Hmm.
have a journey person, I'll speak from a union perspective because
Hmm.
that's where I live my life. It's a two-person trade,
Hmm.
right? So a lot of the heavy lifting and stuff, we do it together.
Hmm.
And not everything about our trade is about lifting heavy stuff. I pick it up, I put it down. It's
Hmm.
not about heavy. It's about intelligence because that's what we have to change the picture of the skilled trades worker and why we need more people to get into it. Because we put that picture that it's a big burly guy who works out in the
Hmm.
gym and he picks it up and he puts it down. That's a commercial. Everybody.
Hmm.
It's not. We make structures and build things that protect people and they use it every day. And that takes smarts. So
Hmm.
stop making it sound like our trade is some brute force thing. We are skilled workers. We use
Hmm.
our brains. The stuff that we use is science related with
Right.
mathematics and engineering and calculus. So I think that's a fallacy and we have to stop put in our trade like it's all only about brute, and it's not about that. A lot of times it's like stopping and thinking, how are we going to achieve whatever that is,
Hmm.
and women, please don't fall for that. It's just a way of pushing you out. Yes, you should work out. I'm not going to say that, like, you should be fit and work out and do your push-ups and your pull-ups. I
Hmm.
do it.
Hmm.
But it's not only that. There's so
Hmm.
many facets to the trades that
Right. Yeah. And you pointed out that no guy should be lifting 6-inch cast iron pipe by himself either because it's a safety hazard. Um,
exactly
you can have an acute injury. You can definitely have repetitive strain
knee
injuries.
problems, all kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so we've developed techniques
yeah,
for lifting safely. We've developed equipment
yeah,
that helps ease some of that. Some of the materials, especially in plumbing, have gotten lighter over
yeah,
time because there's a lot of PVC and,
yeah,
synthetic materials. So,
yeah,
yeah, thank you for putting that myth to rest because I think that's one of the most persistent things that I
yeah,
hear people say every time I talk about women in the trades. And so it's good to
yeah.
hear from someone who's out there on job sites every day that you're capable of doing the
You're
work.
capable. And I know men jump in my comments and I just don't even, I just say, I always use humor. So I don't get mad when they jump in my comments and talk
Mhm.
about, I show you can't lift cast iron. And I was like, bro, I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to lift 6 inch cast iron. So you're not attacking my intelligence because it's work smarter, not harder.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've never let like when I would be on the man hoist,
Hmm.
guys from other trades would say to me, "You're so short. Like how do you do this?" And I said, "You know what?" And it's a funny line, and I love it. I lean in and I say, "You know what's so great? They don't pay me short money. Hello."
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
really, really good point.
right.
And another reason why we need to make the trades more uh, visible to
Yeah,
girls and women because it's one of the very few
yeah,
industries where women actually make the same amount as men, right?
Yeah.
Because of the union pay scale.
It's absolutely the best thing ever that we get to work alongside the men, do the same thing they're doing, receive the same salary. And I always try to look at it like I am a person doing this job that I love, and I
Hmm.
get to do it alongside amazing men and women just like myself. So I think if it, like for me, it's the love of it that drives me
Hmm.
with the plumbing. And women, don't let all the boys have all the fun with the money. Like just
Hmm.
come on in. It's a game changer, especially for someone like me. I grew up in the Caribbean islands, and I grew up I grew up poor. And the trades has been an equalizer, and it has made me go in the invisible, non-existent middle class anymore.
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
Because it's changing so much. And then it because of my career, it enabled me to help people, whether it be doing volunteer work, and it helped me to start Tools and Tiaras. If I didn't have that plumbing salary for the long time when I was, doing it on my own, I wouldn't be able to do it because of
Hmm.
that. And because of my plumbing skill, I was able to start the nonprofit, so
Yeah, that's such a good point, especially about the shrinking middle class, because
yeah.
again, the trades are one of the very few career pathways left where people can actually get into and stay in the middle class and make a family sustaining wage and benefits.
Yeah,
And more people need to know about that.
definitely.
So, what advice do you give women and girls who are considering careers in the trades?
One of the things I always tell them is, when you're considering coming in, believe that you can and you will. And I always tell them, and it doesn't matter for just women only, even the guys, master your craft.
Hmm.
Like master it. Learn everything about it, that so that way you bring in value, right? And give yourself grace for the things that you don't know, and always ask question. Always ask questions. And if you don't know how to use a tool or use something, like, you will learn. So don't think that you're going to go in and don't know how to do anything. Most of the times, nobody knows. That's what's so great about apprenticeship. You could come in green, like we used to say, and
Hmm.
you leave a full library of knowledge,
Hmm.
like, if you want to, like, I should say that, because some people may not want to learn the full library and just there, right? But
Hmm.
you have the ability to get knowledge that you can have a job anywhere in the world. And what's great about the union and apprenticeship, you could start at any age. Like, I
Hmm.
mean, we have a starting age, but you know what I mean? Like, as a
Hmm.
woman in her 30s or her 40s, you could say, you know what, I'm going to try something new, and we
Hmm.
will accept you. Because I've seen men start late, and
Hmm.
the women, and I've seen women who have start late too, and find love of it. And I think that's, for me, I always try to tell people, no matter what you do, you have to find a way to love it and let it be a why, because there's going to be difficult days. Like, construction is not easy. I'm
Right.
not, even though I'm inviting all you ladies to come, I'm not saying it's easy, and
Hmm.
no job is easy, but because of, like, the elements. So just
Hmm.
picture this island girl who's used to, in my country, 70 degrees is cold. I need a jacket.
Oh my
People's people,
gosh.
they're wearing, of course, we wear jackets then. So just think about the New York weather,
Hmm.
-2 with the wind chill. Like,
Hmm.
it was hard for me to go to work. I would go to work, and my partners will hear my song all day. My toesies are frozies. Okay. But I'm still there because that's my why. I love the plumbing. So it's going to be difficult, but you have to dig deep, dig in, and figure out why you're there. And I think, for me, I think a lot of the men respected me because they made fun of how I looked, because I looked like
Hmm.
the Michelin man with the amount of Carhartt clothes I had on, the bibs, the jackets, the whole 9 yards. But I showed up. I
Yeah,
showed I showed
that's
up.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So, yeah, obviously the weather is a
Yeah.
barrier. Are there other barriers that you had to overcome to succeed in the trades? And if
Yes.
so, how'd you overcome them?
I a lot, and I still continue to have the barriers. It's never
Hmm.
gonna stop, but don't let that stop you. You
Hmm.
know, being a woman, being an immigrant, that was difficult. You know,
Hmm.
people would tell me go home and do dishes, or they would be like, you don't belong here. But
Wow.
that was what, yeah, it's always one or two. It's changing, but
Hmm.
there's always amazing men and people who step up. And like learning your craft. Sometimes, as a woman, somebody may not want to teach you
Hmm.
craft, but there's always guys who will do it. So
Hmm.
I don't want you to you will get dismayed, you will cry, and you will do that in any job. I
True.
don't want people to make it sound like, like all of this stuff only happen in construction. It
Hmm.
just happens to women in general.
That's true.
In any job, you being a lawyer, you
Hmm.
can go back where people be like, "Are you the lawyer?" And you look at them
Oh my God.
like
Yeah.
who else you think is a lawyer?
Yeah.
I still knock on doors and people don't believe I'm the plumber, but I think it's funny and I get an opportunity to show them something they've never seen, right?
Yeah.
So at first
Hmm.
they may not want to let me in, but then they realize, oh my gosh, she knows what she's talking about. And it will
Hmm.
always happen. So it's not unique for construction. That is why I don't want women to give up and don't try it because it's unique to everything that women do.
Yeah, that's a really good point because I've faced all kinds of overt and
Mhm.
subtle sexism in every profession I've ever had. Like
Yeah.
I'm on my fourth career now. I was a
See?
newspaper reporter, I was a
Yeah.
lawyer, I was an
Yeah.
executive director of construction trade associations, and now I have my own consulting business. And I wish the days of people like assuming I was, a receptionist were
Yeah.
over, or just like being completely
Ignored.
puzzled, like,
Yeah.
why are you at this table? Like, who are
Yeah.
you? Like, or, assuming I was there to carry the male
Yeah.
lawyer's
Right.
briefcase, so that's a really good point.
And
These,
that's okay, right?
Mhm,
I
mhm,
want people to know that's okay. That's going to happen is how do you handle it? Do you
right,
get angry or do you use that as a teachable moment for them? Use
right,
humor
right.
and
Hmm.
let them know, yes, I'm the boss lady here. I know you didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I
And
tell people, I tell the woman I knock the door, I sorry to cut you off. I tell them they let girls do this now. And they laugh because they get the humor. That
yep.
have just been funny. So just use it to just enlighten people because you can, a lot of people don't know stuff.
Hmm.
And don't be mad at that. Use it for a moment. Teachable. Now, after you teach them and you try to use all of that and it doesn't work then, but I really don't get angry. I try, like when they don't believe I'm the plumber, I just think it's
Yeah.
funny and I use it to
Yeah.
let them know. Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, because a lot of times it's just ignorance, right? It's not
Yeah.
somebody being malicious. They just really don't know that women can be plumbers because they've never seen a woman plumber.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, like, I've done a lot of flying for 50 years now. I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever had a woman pilot, right? So,
Yeah.
like, if I didn't know cognitively that
Yeah.
women could be pilots, I would make the same assumption.
Yeah.
In fact, uh, that it reminds me of kind of a funny story. When my son, who's now 11, was like 4 years old, we were driving home from school one day and we were stopped at a red light and a truck pulled up next to us and there was a woman behind the wheel of the truck. And my son
Mhm.
just flipped out. He's like, Mommy, that lady is stealing that truck. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then it clicked. I'm like, oh my God, he's never seen a woman behind the wheel of a truck before. So of course, in his 4-year-old brain, he's going to assume that only men are allowed to drive trucks. And I think we
Exactly.
make those assumptions even as adults without even thinking about it.
Yeah, and just think about it. That is why it's so important to me, the work that I do, go into the schools. In the schools, when I go visit schools, I talk to boys and girls because I
Hmm.
want boys to know that women could be plumbers and they get really
Hmm.
excited and they think it's so cool. Once they realize that I'm the plumber, and I ask a question, have you ever met a female plumber? And they like, no. I say, yes, you have. And they laugh. Um, and that's why it's so important that we do this work and
Hmm.
change and the television industry, the news, and everybody start to like when they have the cartoons and it's the truck and the dumps
Hmm.
and they're digging in the dirt. One or two of those people could be a woman. Like, so
Hmm.
our boys also grow up accepting and being that it's normal
Right.
for women to be a plumber, a pilot, electrician, and all of these other careers, then they would not fight it because
Hmm.
it's normal, right?
Yeah.
How we grow our boys to be, you
Yeah.
know.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, we need everybody to see that that jobs don't have genders.
Genders, yes. I should have, you know what? You beat me to my own slogan.
I know.
I should
I
have
mean,
just dropped it.
yeah, yeah. That's your registered trademark. I hope you'll give me permission
No,
to
it's okay.
say it.
I just love that you said it because that's what we do. And when I'm in the school, I tell the kids that. So it's really important.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So I know you've done a lot of cool stuff, speaking all around the country.
Yeah.
It seems like internationally too, because you were named a L'Oreal Paris 2023 Woman of Worth. Can you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit more about that?
Oh, that was an awesome experience. And I am the first, which was kind of cool, to be the first tradeswoman they recognized. Um,
Awesome.
and what the L'Oreal Woman of Worth is women who have nonprofits and are making impact within the world and showing that women are worth it. And for me, I felt like it was so great because everywhere I go in other parts of, like that is not construction, I want them to put women in the trades and make us visible. All right.
Hmm.
So even if it's not me and it's my other sisters, and I just want us to be visible and to let them know that we are here and we're not being seen and we need to have a platform. So it was great to have that platform so that tradeswomen could see their sister,
Hmm.
up there being recognized because it's for all of the tradeswomen. Every time I know I get uncomfortable when people like you reading it,
Hmm.
but I do take a sense of pride when I get these opportunities to be like on Fox or anything like that to represent the trades. Like
Hmm.
I feel like everybody within the trades is there with me and
Hmm.
repping, use that everybody. So
That,
that was a
that
great experience.
that's so great. Yeah, and I'm sure that all the tradeswomen who see you do that feel like you're representing them too, which is it's so
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
And so also you were a CNN 2020 champion for change. What was that? Can you tell us about that?
Oh, that one was awesome because it was the opportunity uh for like the girls to be seen and
Hmm.
what we're doing. And again, it's just bringing that spotlight on the trades. And I think since all of these things are happening, like the data showed the data started changing, like the 3% number change finally got to 4%. And then we see that Gen Z, these kids are like, oh, we're jumping in the trade. So I think
Hmm.
everything like that, the visibility and the more that we can reframe the narrative of what even like all my fellow plumbers, if you have a truck, I'm shorting you out. Please remove the toilet bowl on there with the plunger. Let us let our kids see that we do amazing life-saving work. And that's what I want. Why the introvert in me, I know it sounds that way because I just stay in my apartment and I hardly do anything. And when I go to events and stuff, I'm the girl in the back, not introducing
Uh-huh.
myself to
Yeah,
anybody.
sure. Hmm.
But one of my board members, she said, always think of it like when you're doing it for the girls, right? And
Hmm.
when I get these opportunities, I'm doing it for our trade because people need to know the
Hmm.
life-saving important work that all skilled trades do. And it just boggles my mind that they don't appreciate it and they
Yeah.
didn't realize it until during COVID, how
Yes.
essential we definitely are.
Yeah, exactly. Because, for generations, we've been telling kids that the only way to be successful is to go to college.
Yeah,
And, we've been telling them that only the kids who aren't good at school should go into the
exactly.
trades. And
Yeah.
so most people think a plumber just uses a toilet plunger, right? But
And that's
there's,
true 12 hours. That's why I'm saying that. Like, because when I go to the schools and I tell the kids all the stuff that we do, work in a hospital, when you go to the
Mhm,
dentist or when you go to the doctor and those,
mhm.
like, once I started, like, I do speaking engagements and I led people, and you're going to love this one. I always tell them when everybody finds out what I do, everybody's going to want my number. I said, you definitely going to need a plumber before you need a lawyer.
It's so true. You
And
know,
they all get it, like, it's because it's true. Not that you don't need a lawyer, but I'm going to need a plumber more in my lifetime
yeah.
as a homeowner, as a
Hmm.
business owner. I have
Exactly.
like, you're going to need us. So
Hmm.
why not just embrace that fact and treat us
Hmm.
like the superheroes that we are?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
are superheroes for sure. Yeah, like again, another reason I wish I had known the trades was a pathway. I'm
Yeah.
a homeowner. I wish I could do some of these repairs myself, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
can't use my college degree and my law degree to
Yeah.
like, fix a pipe that's
Yeah.
frozen and
Also, yeah.
burst, right?
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, the world cannot function without plumbing.
Yeah.
I mean, you take away wastewater, you bring clean water, you bring
Yeah.
medical gas to
Hmm.
patients in hospitals and dental clinics, and I don't think people really know about all the different
Yeah.
aspects of the trade. So it's great that you're making that visible for people.
Yeah. I really want to continue doing that because we have to bring, uh, a respectability of how people tell their kids to view, people in the trades. And that's why I do what I do, because I love what I do. And I've never been embarrassed at an event where everybody's talking and,
Hmm.
the uncomfortable, what do you do? Because, it's all measuring. Let's
Hmm.
measure how important I am.
Right. Yeah.
And everybody tells their stuff. And I am like, I'm a plumber and I'm proud to say it. Like, I
That's
never
awesome.
has felt like shrink myself to not say that I'm a plumber. Like, never.
Yeah.
I know some guys might, but
Hmm.
I will never tell anybody I'm a plumber. I boast that I'm a plumber.
Yeah.
I'm shouting it from the mountaintops, you know?
And you should. You
Yeah.
should. People should respect you and all other tradespeople because what you do is much more important than what lawyers and other parasites do.
No, everybody, one of my favorite books is The Alchemist, and everybody has a mission and has a purpose. We need lawyers, we need doctors. What we have to do is just not treat, whether, like, I was a housekeeper, and if somebody's a janitor, we just have to make sure that we don't say that you are better than or less than or great. That
Yeah.
everybody's role is, if we all were plumbers, who's going to cook my food? Oh my
Right.
God. Who's going to, like, oh, when now I have something that happened that I needed a lawyer. Well,
Mhm.
who's going to do it? You see what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
just wanted that. What I'm trying to do is that we treat everybody as every job is important, because we are all sent here for a purpose and to aid each other in this life, and every job, everything that everybody, it's important. And let's just not look down on each other or
Hmm.
think that one is better than the next. They're all equal. I mean, we're not going to get the same money fit because society is structured on egos, and I think I'm better than you, like
Hmm.
I already do. Like I boasted I'm a plumber, so I'm part of the problem. But hey, but just that. But I do keep in my mind, and the way that I treat people when I meet them, like I do really believe that we all are here for a purpose, a reason, and we need to just see that and just know that the plumbers, even though they might be dirty, the construction people, they are just as important.
That's a really inspiring message and
Mm.
really important. So I understand that you made a coloring book. Is that right?
Yes, I have an amazing coloring book
Oh,
that I've
cool.
worked with Ayatmo, and it's available in English and
Ooh,
Espanol. And
cool.
it says, My mom is a plumbing superhero. And
I
this
know.
book is to show kids, boys and girls, that plumbers are also women and we come all different ways. And the great thing about this book, it's free. You can go on our iAtmos site and we'll have the link, and you could download the free book for your kids to color. And if you want it like this for your school or anything, they will send it to you with the cost. So you can get this version, with the shipping and stuff. So yeah, let's do
That's
this.
that's awesome. Yeah, I will definitely put a link in the show notes at the end of this episode to the coloring book so people can download it. But it's great to know that it's available, like actually, like in a real paperback form for schools too. That's really neat. So you've answered pretty much every question I could come up with on my own. Are there things that we didn't talk about that you would like people in our audience to know?
I would love people in our audience to know that I want you to really let your girls and boys experience the skilled trades. And I want you to know that a 6-year-old girl loves fire from welding, and they love soldering, and they love snapping cast iron because we just
Hmm.
did one and the girls get to snap. They do. And it's just, please get your kids exposed to the amazing, absolutely amazing careers in construction. And even if they never did it, the empowerment that one feel when you can master tools or use tools,
Hmm.
nobody would take it away from them. And please, please let your girls experience that because it's a game changer.
That is awesome. What a great message. So I'm going to include a link to the
Yes.
Tools and Tiaras website in the show notes for this episode so people can learn more about Tools and Tiaras
Yeah.
and its important work and more about Judaline. And I want to thank you, Judaline, for everything you do and for taking the time to share your important message with us today.
Thank you for having me. And when you go on and you look at those little girls in their helmets and the welding, it's going to melt your heart. And please be part of the solution of inspiring more kids to pick up the trades.
Thank you. I'll try. And I know that you are impacting more people than you'll ever know.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Judaline.